Yes, good afternoon, friends. Good morning, friends. Now, I would like to welcome you to the second lecture series of Module 2 or Unit 2 Risk Measurement. In our previous class, we have already seen what is risk management and what are the various components of risk management that we have studied in the previous class. Now we need to study in this lecture series the various aspects relating to risk measurement. In the previous class also we have understood what the risk measurement is and the frequency and severity of a risk concepts we have already seen in the previous discussions. Now I would like to discuss in this lecture series. One is risk financing, the objectives of risk financing and risk financing techniques. And next one is risk management decision methods, and that risk control and risk financing again. We will have in detail discussions of these aspects today in this lecture series number 2. Now, friends, let us understand what the risk financing technique is. What is risk financing? Risk financing is a planning process to arrange for funds that are reliable and cost effective to finance for the losses that might happen. Risk financing and risk control are not mutually exclusive and are in fact complementary to each other. At the very outset, let me explain you what the risk is, and we have already seen what the risk is. Risk is any uncertainty which is happening, which has already been probed. An organization is going to control certain risks and make certain possible arrangements to controllable risks, and the risk which are not affecting the business goals and risk which are not directly connected, which cannot be controlled, are not included in the risk management system. Risk management involves those risks which can be controlled, which can be what you call as the which can be sustained, which can be managed. Those risks are only controlled in the risk management concept. Now, for example, an organization which is manufacturing a product, the risk of supply of raw material, shortage of supply of raw material is always there in every organization. So in this case, most of the organizations will store for at least 1 month or 2 months of requirement as per the severity of the problem risk, and they try to store the goods in the godown. When the goods are stored in the godown, there is a chance of deteriorating the quality of the raw material also. So hence, certain kind of arrangements are made. There are certain risks which you cannot avoid. It is definitely going to happen, and if it happens, you need to have compensation for that or financial arrangement for that. So that financial arrangement is called as risk financing. An example is injury to the employees in the organization is quite common in spite of taking all that measurements to avoid the accidents in the factory premises. Beyond all the controlling measures of the accidents in the organization, if at all any person gets damaged or gets accidents and loses his hand or fingers or something like that in the production process machines, in such cases, financing this risk is most essential. You have to arrange the funds to compensate or to sustain the cost involved in the treatment and all that for the employees, and see that a kind of arrangement is made to sustain such kind of risk. So in this case, in spite of making all the arrangements to avoid the risk, but there is no possibility to avoid 100% risk. If at all 100% risk happens, you need to make a financing for that kind of risk. This is what called as risk financing techniques. This is called risk financing techniques. What is risk financing? It is a planning process to arrange the funds for that reliable and cost effective to finance for the losses. In spite of making all the arrangements to avoid the risk, if the risk happens, a risk is always creating a loss in the organization, And if the loss happens, a financing technique has to be implemented to sustain that particular loss. This is called risk financing. This activity is called risk financing. Risk financing in the sense creating the funds or arranging the funds or having a strategy to raise the funds to sustain the losses that are being arising, that are being affected because of the risk, in spite of controlling also if it happens. Now take an example of the pandemic of the COVID going around right now. There are one and the other kinds of problems which are arising in the state and in the country, one after the another. Now the government is trying to finance these risks. For example, if at all the poor people are affected by the COVID and get hospitalized, their cost of treatment has to be borne by the government now in the government hospitals. Now there is a supply of masks, there is a supply of oxygen, supply of medicines, and supply of all the services of the staff and all that has to be made regularly. In this case, the government or hospitals are incurring the cost. Now the government has to finance this cost out of the treasury budget or ad hoc finance created in order to support this COVID pandemic. Now the government may raise the funds in the form of loans from the other financial organizations, or increase the increase the taxes, or ask for the donations and help from the rich people. So all these kind of various arrangements are being made by the government, or it can have a contract with the foreign companies for supply of necessary life-saving drugs during this pandemic, and the payment of that shall be made in future by collecting the funds from the public treasuries and all that. So this is what we call as various financial techniques that are being implemented to sustain the losses suffered from the COVID coronavirus problem. So this is what we call as risk financing. In the examination, question may be asked for the 3 marks. What is risk financing? Risk financing is a planning process to arrange for the funds that are reliable and cost effective to finance for the losses that might happen. If at all the risk happens, the losses incurred because of such risk happenings, a financial arrangement is made with a cost effective. A very important point to be noted here is the cost effective way of financing. Cost effective means there are various alternatives that are available in raising the funds, but the raising of the fund should be made by the organization looking into the cost effectiveness. There should be cheap financial availability through which the financial sources are created, taken out, and they are being sustained. They are being sustained. This is what we call as financing, risk financing activity. There are various objectives of risk financing. The basic objectives, if you look into, there are basic reasons or objectives for which the risk financing is being made. The major goal is to maximizing of the value of the organization to its shareholders. The first important financing objective, risk financing objective, is to provide maximum value to the organization shareholders. Things organization has to make such a decision that the shareholders value is being maximized. How the shareholders value is maximized? If the organization name and fame is maintained, and if the goodwill of the company is made good, even if there is a risk and the risk financing is made, the organization has to maintain its goodwill. When the goodwill is maintained, the share prices of the stock prices of the company in the market will be high. And on the other hand, it should utilize that funds in such a way that the risk is properly managed and the profitability of the organization is increased or made unaffected, so that the shareholders contribution in the form of dividend is maintained. The dividend rate of dividend payment is properly maintained or enhanced. So this is the basic objective of risk financing, in the sense that while creating the finance, the organization should see that the shareholders interest is not badly affected at the cost of financing the risk in the organization. Even if it is a temporary expenditure or a cost incurred for sustaining the loss of the uh, risk happening, but in long run, it should fetch a very good reward to the shareholders. That is the basic objective of risk financing. Next one is the risk financing objective plays a significant role in attaining the pre-loss objectives, risk management by removing uncertainty created by the existence of risk by arranging funds which will be available when losses occur. The basic point is before the happening of the uncertainty or the risk, if it is properly probed and arrangement is made in the before the risk happens, so that financing shall be made without affecting the normal course of action or without affecting the financial position of the organization. That is very important. An example is, if at all any machinery is bought, it is always anticipated that the machine may undergo a severe repair cost after fifth or sixth year of obtaining the machine. If it is probed in advance, and if the repair cost is being kept aside from the profit of every year for the next 5 years or 6 years, the accumulated repair funds will be available with the company whenever the machinery breaks down. So it will not create a loss, it will not create a heavy expenditure in a one single year to an organization to incur the repair cost. The repair cost, machineries repair cost is already been taken care of. From every year, little amount has been kept aside in the form of repair reserves and funds, and out of that funds, repair can be easily made without affecting the normal financial activities of the organization. So this is what we call as a uh, significantly managing the uncertainty in such a way that it will not affect much to the organization. That is a it should play a significant role in attending the pre-loss objectives risk management by removing uncertainty created by the existence of the risk by arranging funds which will be available when losses occur. Another very important point that to be noted nowadays, for example, most of the industries which have faced the flood problem today, because of the heavy flood and all that, the transportation and all kinds of things have been affected. Now the organizations are thinking in future, if at all such damages happens or such kind of a disaster happens, how to manage that disaster out of the finance funds and all that. So a pooling of activities are being done. Lot of industries are coming on a common platform to create the funds and create the infrastructure so that next time when flood happens, it will not affect that organizations. So this is also called as risk financing for arranging the infrastructure to avoid the problems of transportation during the floods and all that. The third important one is risk financing support post-loss objectives of the risk management by utilizing the funds made available to risk financing to pay for the losses. The second one is a pre-happening of uncertainty. Second one is a post-happening of the uncertainty. If the uncertainty happens for which already the funds have been raised out, kept out, it should be utilized in such a way that the post-operative loss of the risk, the post happening of the risk losses should not be affecting the business. So the funds available should be utilized in a well manner. That has a perfect plan has to be made for utilizing the funds which is kept in the form of reserve surplus or any other kinds of funds for post loss objectives. Post loss objectives. So these are the basic three objectives of risk financing. What is the first one? The major goal is to maximize the shareholders interest without affecting their normal routine interest of the shareholders, that the dividend payment and the share value in the market should not be affected. That is a basic objective of the risk financing. Second one is pre loss has to be estimated, and for that funds are to be kept aside. The third one is the kept aside fund should be utilized in a proper way when the loss happens. That is a post loss happenings should be managed effectively by the utilization of the funds. These are the basic three objectives of risk financing. Now, risk financing techniques, if you consider, there are basically three important techniques of risk financing. They are broadly divided into three categories. One is risk transfer technique. Here, the financing is not made by the company itself, organization itself, but agreements are made in such a way that the third party can take away the risk and finance when the risk happens. This is what risk transfer techniques. Second one is risk retention. In this case, the risk is retained by the organization and it is being addressed out of the funds maintained for that particular thing. The third one is the hybrid technique where partial transfer is made, partial retention is made. So this is what we call as a hybrid technique. Hybrid involves the combination of the internal and sources of funds to pay the uh, internal and external sources of funds to pay off the losses. Now look at this first one, risk financing technique. Risk transfer technique enables an organization to transfer its financial responsibilities to pay for potential losses to the insurers, either by the insurance contract or even in this case, what happens, the company is planning to pay the premium every year, and the agreement is made with the insurance companies that any risk happens on the agreed terms and conditions. If at all risk happens, it should be compensated by the insurance company. This is what we call as a risk transfer technique. In this case, organizations will transfer the risk to the insurance companies. An example is the factory is being insured against the fire, insured against the fire. Here the factory will have a fire insurance for the factory premises and the machineries of the factory if they burnt out. Second one is, if at all any raw materials which are kept, for example, a textile industry where the raw material is the cotton. Normally the cotton is a inflammable material where a small incident of the fire may lead to a big loss. Small incident of the fire may lead to big loss. In this case, the textile factories will insure against the losses, where they pay every year the insurance premium for 10 or 20 years of a contract. Insurance company at the cost of the premium will take the uh, risk of the fire, and in case if at all risk happens, any loss happens to the factory, the compensation shall be made by the factory, made by the insurance company to the factory. So this is what we call as risk transfer technique. Here it is the in this case, financing is being made by the third party, that is insurance company, to the loss happened to the organizations or companies. Next one is risk retention. In this case, the organization internal funds or funds from its group of companies to finance the loss is being utilized. For example, in this case, paying losses as current expenditures, establishing the reserves and payment of loss from the organization, captive insurance management, that is called what we call as risk retention techniques. There are three important risk retention techniques. In this case, organization will not undergo for an insurance contract with any insurance companies. What they do is, organizations will retain the losses within the company where the losses are met out of the current expenditures. These are the losses which are not very big. If insurance contract is undertaken, the insurance premium cost will be more because the severity and frequency of the loss in this risk retention is very low. In such cases, organizations find it effective to retain the losses rather than transferring it to insurance companies, because if you transfer to insurance companies, you have to incur a huge amount of premium for that. In such cases, organizations will make arrangement of the funds out of the current assets, out of the profit and loss accounts, available cash in hand. They will mitigate the losses, or they may establish the reserve if at all loss is heavy, and it may happen, may not happen. In these cases, establishment of the reserve is made. For example, a sinking fund reserve or depreciation funds that has been kept out in order to replace the machinery or to repair the machinery and all that. This is what we call as establishing a reserve. Third one is a payment of loss from the organization. Captive insurance management. What is a captive insurance management? In this case, the the mother organization, or we call as the sister concerns of the organizations, are pooled together to compensate the loss if it happens in certain cases. An example is the take an example of organizations like KLE. KLE is having a medical hospital and also having education institutions. In this case, any loss happened to the education institutions are taken away, undertaken out of the revenue earned by the hospital. On the vice versa, if at all hospital is undergoing any kind of expenditures, heavy losses and all that, education institutions will incur those. This is what we call as a captive system arrangement of insurance within the organization. It is not an external arrangement. It is a within the organization arrangement where the one business unit can take away the losses of the other, which is poorly managing. In such cases, a kind of a star organization is taking care of the poor organizations. This is what arrangement is called as captive insurance management. So these are the three important methods of risk retention. Now in the examination, question may be asked, what is risk retention? Explain the various methods of risk retention techniques. Risk retention is one of the way of risk risk technique, risk financing technique, in which the organization will make an internal fund arrangement to sustain its losses. This kind of risk retention is undertaken when the insurance contract is costly, when the company doesn't want to take the insurance company from the third party, it will make its own arrangement. So there are three important one. One is paying losses out of the current expenditure, establishing the result, and third one is captive insurance management system. So these are the three important techniques. Please write answers in the examination if the question is asked like this. Now the hybrid technique involves the combination of the three. Third one is hybrid technique, in the sense an expenditure which is huge, a risk loss is which is huge, where partially it is insured with the external organization where the risk transfer is made, and partially it is being arranged from the internal sources. That is what we call as hybrid techniques. Hybrid techniques. All the risk is not transferred to the outsiders. Partial risk is transferred to outsiders, whereas internal arrangements are made with the internal sources. This is what we call a hybrid technique, combination of the two. Let us understand the risk management decision methods. What is this risk management decision method? Risk management is the process of identifying risks and planning actions to manage the risk. The identified risks are assessed and patronized. Only significant risks are managed. In this case, what happens, risk management decision techniques refers to deciding upon which risk has to be managed internally, which risk has to be managed externally. That decision is called as a risk management decision method. So risk management decision making is a process to select the best alternative or rank the alternatives for a specific risk management goal. The ultimate goal is to create, protect, and enhance the shareholders' value by managing uncertainties influencing the achievements of the firm's objective. In this case, what happens, the risk management decision making, in this process, a best alternative is being selected for a specific risk management goal. Which is the best alternative? One is selected. That alternative should be such that it should protect the shareholders' value. It should be less in cost, that is a cost effective system should be there. That based on that criteria, the alternatives are selected. Now when we are deciding anything, decision is taking one best alternative and adopting it and implementing it. It means that there are several alternatives are available. Now when you make a risk management decision methods, what are the various alternatives that a company can come across, organization can come across to manage its risk or finance its risk and all that. So these are the various alternatives. Which alternative suits best will be decided based on that. Now let us understand what are the various alternatives of risk management decision methods. If you see, the alternatives of risk management decision techniques are two in nature. The company may choose any of the alternatives to manage the risk depending on the situation. The basic objective of a risk management is to protect the interest of the stakeholders, either by increasing the profit, by controlling the risk, or by minimizing the loss by effectively handling the risk. Some of the alternatives are: one is risk control decision making, and second one is risk financing decision making. Risk financing decision making, we have already seen what is risk financing. Risk control decision making is a one more aspect that we need to study in nature. If you see these alternatives, it can be there are various types of risk control techniques, and there are various types of risk financing techniques. The one is risk control decision method involves risk avoidance. What is a controlling? Controlling is setting a standard to which the performance has to be made according to the standard. If anything goes against to the set standards, that the deviations are identified, and the controlling tools or plannings will be made to reduce that particular deviation. For example, sales control, when we talk about, a selling target is given to every salesperson, and it is evaluated on every weekly basis, though the target is to be achieved for 1 year. Every weekly basis, quarterly, monthly, and in the quarterly evaluations are made. And if at all the deviation is happening, that if the performance of the salesperson is below the target given to him, if it is identified in the quarter analysis, before the completion of 1 year itself, he will be given certain kinds of guidelines, help, and all that, to see that he should achieve his objectives. This is what we call as a controlling technique, sales controlling technique. Like that, in case of risk also, risk can be controlled whenever we are anticipating any kind of a risk, whether the organization is going to suffer that particular risk or not. It will be checked now and then, and the things are being made where the avoidance of the risk or prevention of the risk or reduction of the risks can be made. A simple example of a fire in the factory premises. The fire is going to happen if at all certain kinds of negligence happens on the part of the company also, from the point of view of the organization also. So in this case, risk avoidance method, risk of loss prevention method, and loss reduction methods we can understand in a different way. One is risk avoidance method, how the fire insurance, so how the fire can be avoided in the factory premises. One is, first of all, the organization has to make a different analysis how fire will take place in the organization. Take an example, a textile industry. What are the frequencies of happening a fire? What are the reasons of the fire? One is the reason, most important reason of the fire is the short circuit. Okay, short circuit. The another reason is the kind of fire taking place because of the smoking habits of the employees in the organization. Third one is fire may be put by certain what you call as put out by certain mishandling of the explosives or petroleum products in the company. So avoidance of the risk can be made by certain techniques. For example, whenever it is happening with the short circuit, the company is going to find out the weak wire connections and weak sockets with the machineries, and now and then these sockets and wires are changed where the spark should never happen and should not lead to any kinds of short circuits. And another risk avoidance method in this case is use of auto cut instruments, where if the heavy load comes in, heavy electricity power comes in, automatically the units should stop the supply of the power and reduce the short circuits. So this is what we call as avoidance method. It is a avoidance technique. And second one is the smokers in the organization are prohibited. No person is allowed to carry the matchbox or the lighters, and the smoking elements in the factory premises is being implemented compulsorily. This is what we call as avoidance method. The second point is risk of loss prevention. In this case, the textile industry, to prevent the loss, it can use certain kinds of fire extinguishers at a various places where there is a fire is commonly happening. For example, in the storage premises where the cotton is being stored, a kind of what you call as fire extinguishers are kept, machines are kept. If at all anything happens, the fire extinguishers are opened and the prevention of the fire can be made in the initial stage itself so that the loss can be avoided. So this is what controlling the loss. The third one is risk of loss reduction, how the loss can be reduced. Risk of loss reduction. In case if at all the fire is happening in one particular premises of the stock, the other stock of the bales and all that will be thrown out from the factory premises to protect them. This is what loss reduction. In this case, the thrown out cotton bales may also lose certain kinds of what you call as quality, but even then the maximum loss can be reduced. Otherwise, whole lot would have been burnt out in the system. This is what we call as risk of reducing the loss. A simple example that I can give in case of ship transportation. When the ship is found to be is loaded with a huge amount of goods, cargo ship, and if the ship peril starts, if the sea peril starts, if the storm starts in, the volatility of the ship due to heavy storage of the goods inside may make the may sink may may sink the ship in the sea. In that case, a kind of jettison concept is being used. What is a jettison concept? In this case, the heavy materials or the some portion of the materials based on where the price is less but the weight is more, such materials are decided by the crew of the ship, and they throw out all that heavy machine products in the sea itself, so that the weight of the ship is reduced and the ship is made to sink even if there is a storm. This is, you are losing certain kinds of what you call as the products, you are incurring certain loss, but the big loss can be reduced with. This is what we call as risk control decision techniques. Understand? So these are the three different kinds of decision making control risk control decision methods. One is avoidance of the risk method by implementing a certain kinds of technology or certain kinds of care and attention so that risk can be avoided. Second one is risk of the losses prevention method, where certain kinds of fire extinguishers or arrangements are being made to reduce the to prevent the loss before it happens. And third one is risk of loss reduction, where the maximum loss can be reduced by sacrificing certain kinds of little losses, incurring little losses. This is what we call as risk control decision technique. Depending on the situation, any one of this method or all these three methods put together in a combination can be implemented to control the risk. The next one is risk financing decision making. If at all, in spite of controlling that risk, if at all risk happens and loss incurs in the organization, then it is financed through various techniques that we have already seen in the previous one is risk transfer technique and risk retention technique and the combined method or the things. Now in this risk financing decision making, again we can have three different classification. Risk retention, that is a company is going to retain the risk, where the internal sources of finances are being made to sustain the losses. This is what we call as risk retention technique that we have already seen in the previous slide. The next one is risk transfer decision. It is a non-insurance type. In case of insurance type, the risk can be transferred by undertaking an insurance contract where the company has to pay the premium and make an arrangement to mitigate the losses. But in certain cases, there is some types of risk transfer decisions where non-insurance contracts are happening, where the loss is not being compensated, but the prevention of the loss shall be made by the contract. For example, in the bank and all that, the computer is most essential to provide the customer services. And if at all computers are not properly working, if at all any problem happens with the computer, the servicing to the customer will be withheld, and it is creating a lot of tension and loss to the banks. Therefore, bankers will undertake a annual maintenance contract of the computers with the external sources who are expert in managing the computers. These external experts will visit the bank, and every now and then they maintain the softwares properly, the computer performance properly, and replace the old parts of the computers and all that, and see that the bank will function effectively. This is what risk transfer with the agreement, that is what we call as warranty agreements, guarantee agreements, annual maintenance agreements. These are called as non-insurance transfer techniques. Here insurance is not undertaken, but the efficiency of the machines, repair of the machines, cost of repair and heavy damages to the machines will be taken care by the external contractors. So this is what we call as risk transfer decision. Commercial insurance method is the insurance where the insurance companies are undertaking a contract where the premium is paid and it is being taken care. So in this case, transfer decision is concerned, there are two. One is non-insurance transfer technique and insurance, commercial insurance transfer methods. So these are the three important financing decision technique. So uh, here the next one is risk control decision method. Here, yes, the each one of them we will discuss again in detail. Risk control decision method and risk financing decision method in detail with the advantages and disadvantages. Because in the examination question will be asked what is risk avoidance and what are the advantages and disadvantages of this method of controlling the risk. Second one is loss prevention method, what it is and what are the advantages and disadvantages. Loss reduction method, advantages and disadvantages. Retention decision financing, advantages and disadvantages. These questions will be asked in the examination. Therefore, in detail, we should see here in this lecture series. The one is risk control decision method, risk avoidance method. What is avoidance? Avoidance means a certain loss exposure is never acquired or an existing loss exposure is abandoned. For example, flood losses can be avoided by not building a new plant in the plant. Pharmaceutical firm that markets a drug with a dangerous side effects can withdraw the drug from the market to avoid a possible legal liability. A simple technique, as I had given the example of the textile industry also while discussing the avoidance of the risk, where if you find that short circuit will happen with the poor wire connections, such kind of poor wire connection should not be done, or poor quality of electricity fitting should never be made. We should use the heavy materials more than the expected this one. If you put a heavy lines and all that, there will not be short circuits. So this is what we call as avoidance that we have already seen. What are the advantages of this technique? One is possible risk factor is normally zero. Normally risk will not happen if at all you avoid the risk properly and take a proper advantage. This the kind of what you call as avoid the risk. For example, when you are traveling, simple example for your own personal life, if you see, look into the aspect, when you are traveling, if you find there will be a stomach disturbances or may happen something like that, you should avoid eating of such a things which are pungent or a lot of spicy things. Avoid while traveling so that you can keep your stomach comfortable. This is what we call as avoidance. Not to eat such a kind of a spicy food which disturbs your stomach. That is what we call as. So possible risk factor is normally zero. So you will be safeguarded against that. Is an advantage. Next one is high safety. There will be safety with you that things never happens to you so easily. For example, if you build a building, big type of building, it is subject to have a thunder or lightning effect and the building may get collapsed. So if you use the lightning control units like earthing and all that properly, so there will be safety. There will not be any problem with the lightning and all that. But the major disadvantages, there are certain disadvantages of this technique also. A firm cannot be able to avoid all the losses. You cannot avoid all the losses because can't avoid short circuit when working on the electricity energy. Huge amount of energy comes in. Even of using the many kinds of things, it may happen certain times. Then losses business opportunities if all possible risks are avoided. If you avoid all possible risks, certain kind of business opportunities you may avoid. For example, you may avoid to transfer the goods where there is a possibility of what you call as accidents on the roads. You don't use that road, but that is the shortest route, and it is, you are going to reach out to your customer in a nice manner. So if you avoid that, you lose the what I call as opportunity of the business. So avoidance technique in certain cases may not be effective. That is what we should look into. The third one is risk of loss prevention method. It refers to the method adopted in preventing the loss by following certain precautions. Example, precautions in loose contacts and preventing short circuits, training the driver to eliminate a road accidents, etc. So in this case, prevention means you are going to train the driver to eliminate the accident. You are trying to see that loose contacts will never happen. You are going to check it every time and find out the loose contacts are properly satisfied. And proper construction of the railway lines where there is no possibility of railway collisions and all that. So these are all proper use of timings, signals, warnings in rail transportation. So these are all the various ways of preventing the losses. The basic advantage of this is firms can explore opportunities by preventing the possible losses. Best opportunities it can take into, risk can be easily managed. Next one is helps to implement a preventive actions for anticipated losses. The losses which are anticipated can be prevented properly, can be anticipated in the sense of probed out, find out. If at all you're driving a car, there is a possibility of various problems. One is it may get puncture all the time. So as a preventive measure, what you do in your car, you keep always one or two wheels, that is called a supplementary wheels in the vehicle, so that anywhere puncture happens, all the four tires may not have puncture at a time is anticipated. The risk of happening is a little bit low, but the risk of happening one tire puncture is more or two tires puncture is more in a rough road driving. So you keep two or three, one or two wheels, spare wheels with all the tires air filled and all that, so that there should not be a loss, there should not be a problem. If at all risk happens, you can easily prevent that without suffering from that particular transportation distance. And fuel, for example, you are storing the fuel extra in the vehicle if at all there is no petrol bunks available on the line, so that you will not be under a trouble. So these are all we call as preventive actions to avoid the risk of loss. There are disadvantages of this method also. Maintenance of the preventive measures may be costly many a time. If at all you are keeping two extra wheels along with the cars, but you have to invest extra money on these wheels. If the risk does not happen at all, investment goes waste. So this is one more problem. So while you are doing all this kind of things, you are finding out how much cost is being invested for spares, extras, and all that. So keeping unutilized stock for anticipating a wrong thing, that loss may happen, something like that sometimes may go waste also. So this is what we call as for example, now in this COVID pandemic, people are tensed that oxygen, that the medicines may not be available. If the hospitals store the medicines, but if they are not used, and after the 6 months or 3 months of storing the medicines, if the medicines get expired, total expired medicine is the loss to the hospitals. So these preventive measures sometimes may lead to losses. So one should have a proper analysis of it and utilization of it, so that risk can be avoided. Next one is possibility of failure of a preventive measures may incur risk. Sometimes if the preventive measures fails, suppose if at all you have kept two what you call as one wheel extra in the car, but you have not paid attention that the wheel is properly filled with the air, and at the time when you are using it, if the air is not there in that a spare wheel also is of no use. So sometimes it will also fail if at all the maintenance of that particular thing is not done. So this is what we call as preventive method. Risk of loss reduction method, it refers to the measures that reduce the loss if risks occur. There are some situations where risk may not be avoided and cannot be prevented. Once such situation happens, in such cases, measures to reduce the loss has to be taken. Example, fire extinguishers may be kept in the petrol bunk and cinema talkies to reduce the loss of fire if happens due to short circuit. Fire extinguishers may be kept in that particular. This is what we call as loss reduction. Another example is, as I had given in case of sea transportation, throwing away certain kinds of goods outside out of the ship to prevent it. This is what we call as a risk reduction method. Uh, Advantages is supports to reduce the loss. It helps to reduce the loss instead of having a heavy losses. A little loss can be reduced and helps to anticipate a possible risks and control challenging situation. It helps to anticipate the possible big risks and control the challenging situation. This is the advantages in that. But the next one is disadvantages is cost of maintenance. If at all you are throwing the goods out of the ship, sometimes the cost, the lost material is totally of zero value. So in this case, you are going to lose all that. And sometimes if you are maintaining any fire extinguishers and all that, like investment made on that may go waste if at all it is not utilized within the stipulated time. So this is what the problem. Timely use of support system may reduce risk. If not, huge loss may happen. So you have to use that supportive things on time. Otherwise, loss may happen. So this is what the problem related to this. And risk financing decision methods. In this case, we have already seen risk retention decision, risk transfer decision, and commercial insurance method. Risk retention method is method which firms fully or partially maintains its risk. This kind of technique is used in such a situation where company cannot transfer its losses fully or can transfer partly losses either because the total loss is quantifiable or frequency of the loss is very low. When the frequency of the loss is very low, if you take insurance contract, it is a loss for you. So therefore, what you do is you retain that particular loss. So there are two types of risk retention possibilities, active retention of the loss and passive retention of the loss. Active retention of the loss refers to where the firm knows the possibility of a loss and purposefully it retains because the loss retention is more beneficial than cost of insurance. Example, depreciation reserve to sustain the obsolescence of the machine after a few years is more useful than insuring the machinery in the for the insurance contract. If you take the insurance on the machinery, for any kind of damage happens, the replacement shall be made by the insurance company. But the problem is, if at all no damage happens, that particular year contribution made in the form of insurance premium goes waste. Therefore, companies normally don't do that. Whenever they buy any new machineries, they start charging the depreciation to profit and loss account, and that money is kept in the form of depreciation in the form of reserves. And after the absolute period of the machine, after the machine becomes absolute after several years, the accumulated reserve is being used either for repair or for replacing the old machinery. So this is what the active retention loss. Passive retention of the loss, where the firm is unable to trace the possibility of the risk and unable to estimate the financial loss. Example, may not anticipate a heavy rains and flood, does not calculate loss and insure. Most of the catastrophic risks are passive risks. In this case, company will not make any estimation for that. Flood will happen or this COVID pandemic will happen. Most of the companies have not prepared for that, and therefore most of the companies have not taken a huge insurance, medical insurance contracts on their employees, because medical emergencies never come into picture. But nowadays, if you see, the pandemic has created a lot of health issues, and medical cost is more. So the factories are unable to cover the cost of the employees under the insurance. In group insurance, a very minimum amount has been taken because anticipating that such a kind of deadly disease will be coming. This is what we call as passive retention, understood without knowing the actual risk. Condition in which risk retention is possible: when the risk retention is made by the companies, no other treatment of the risk is possible. When it is not possible to take insurance on the contract because insurable interest is not there or any kinds of things are not there. And second one is when the cost of the insurance is more than the supportive loss occurring, maintenance cost loss occurring, and all that is less. Then worst possible loss is not serious. If the loss also happens is not so serious, it can be easily met out with the company available resources. And third one is losses are highly predictable and manageable. If the losses are highly predictable and manageable, normally we do not go for any kinds of these contracts, insurance contracts. We retain such kind of a risk and manage it within the out of the company resources. Ways of financing the retention risk techniques is paying losses. Uh, Paying losses, the losses are paid by the firms out of the firm funds created through current net income, unfunded reserves, funded reserves, credit lines. So these are the various kinds of paying losses when the loss happens. When the loss is very big, internal sources of captive insurance can be made, that we have already discussed in the previous slide. Captive insurance, this is the firm will create their own insurance parties called a captive insurance, who will finance their principal partners losses and facilitate to manage the losses. These captive insurances are not insurance organizations. They finance only to their principal partners. Example, Bajaj Finance is going to finance the Bajaj Industry company, Bajaj Lighting, Bajaj various companies if at all any loss happens. So all that internal sources are transferred to Bajaj Finance to safeguard the losses of the sister concern organizations. Berkeley's, for example, uh, and ITC company, for example, in India, will not normally go for the insurance contract. They will have their own internal sources of arrangement of funds with the sister concerns and make it covered under the cooperative way of reserves of the insurance funds. That is what we call as captive insurance technique. Types of captive insurance: single partner captive and association of group captive. Single partner captive in the sense only one partner who is a principal firm for which exclusive finance is made to managing the risk losses. For example, Godrej companies, Bajaj companies, and many more companies who are having a many more sister concerns will have a single captive, that their company own company itself will have a financial organization to manage these kind of losses. Every year it will collect funds from their sister concerns and maintain that. This is what we call as single company. Only one company internal sources are being used for their sister concerns. This is called single partner captive. Association of group captive means number of different companies will come to a common platform and create reserves against certain kinds of catastrophic problems like earthquake, flood, etc. And they contribute a common fund for that particular thing. For example, the housing societies, simple example, various housing societies established in that particular area, if they find that earthquake is quite common, they will contribute the fund from each resident of that particular housing society and create a very good common fund. If at all earthquake happens and any house gets damaged, out of the collected funds they will repair that particular thing and all that. This is called group or association captive method of sustaining the financing the losses. That is what we call as ways of financing the retention risk retention losses. Reasons to form captive users insurers. In the examination question may be asked, what is captive insurer, what are the different types of captive insurances, and what are the reasons for captive insurers captives difficult in obtaining insurance. If insurance contract cannot be taken by the third party, captive insurances will normally get established. Means when the asset cannot be insured, in that cases only, when the situation cannot be insured, in that cases only, certain kinds of group of people will come across and make that the particular problem addressed with their own internal funds. That is what we call as captive insurance system. Second one is lower cost in managing the risk. If at all you take an insurance contract, insurance premium will be deadly waste. So instead of wasting that, reserves are created by the pool of various partners for that particular thing, and that reserve is being continuously maintained. It will have returns also, and it helps the people not to waste their funds and pay money to third parties in the form of insurance. This is one more advantage, one more reason. The third one is insurance contracts through captive insurance. Insurance contract to captive insurers is very effective. Reinsurance is also possible through captive insurance because they create that particular reserve and also reinsure that asset with some other party. So in double benefit will be there for any kind of a losses. Earning additional profits by the applying the funds in the other business opportunities till risk mergers in the principals firms. And self-insurance. Self-insurance activities developed by the risk bearers by their own contribution, example like health benefits, employee reasons, etc., are the another way, third method of insurance, self-insurance, own parties. Advantages of in this self-insurance: save money, lower expenses, increases cash flow, quick finance, etc. But the self-insurance has a problem: is difficult to manage higher cost losses. If at all you are insuring your health against a particular pandemic, where 1 or 2 lakh that you are incurring for the insurance contract, you are undergoing a contract. But if at all 10 or 15 lakhs expenditure comes in, it is very difficult to manage. Higher expenditure due to heavy risk losses. Any heavy risk losses is there, it is very difficult to have a single kind of insurance, because if you take the big amount, you are supposed to pay the huge amount of money. So this is one, and there is no tax benefit for self insurance. So this is one more problem that you have. If you have any reserves and surplus in the organization, that will be having a tax benefit, because reserved funds will not be having any taxes. You are supposed to pay the taxes only on the profit. If you maintain the reserves, a portion of the profit is kept within the organization in the form of reserves, and that reserve is again used as additional capital for flowing back of a profits, or utilize it for the loss happened. So this is all the disadvantage with a single insurance company. So we'll see the non-insurance see the non-insurance contract transfer risk techniques in the next classes. So I thank all the students for your patience listening. Please wait for the lecture 3, where I will be discussing on non-insurance the we'll be discussing non-insurance risk transfer techniques. What are the various methods and all that in the next contract, next this thing. Okay, fine, friend.